I was coming off of being in Miami a night of party, and I don't really remember what I was saying. You know what I'm saying?
Would you like a reminder?
Yeah, sure.
Play some.
Hey, yo, listen, yo.
Imagine having unlimited money, 4 separate law firms on your payroll, and a high-profile celebrity attorney in your corner, yet still hearing that your excuses just don't cut it. That's exactly the nightmare Sean Diddy Combs finds himself in. When Judge Subramanian flatly denied his request to delay his sex trafficking trial, the music mogul and Bad Boy Records founder was left scrambling. Now, with jury selection slated to begin on May 5th, Combs faces a mountain of damning evidence that's set to be publicly unveiled. His grand legal strategy, delay, deflect, deny, has crumbled spectacularly. After years of evading serious consequences, he's now cornered. Multiple victims, poised to share harrowing accounts of abuse spanning 2 decades, are ready to testify. The stakes are staggering. Despite commanding one of the most expensive and talked about defense teams in recent memory, Combs couldn't buy himself more time. For someone who spent his career controlling the narrative, this abrupt shift in power is nothing short of catastrophic. Judge Subramanian made his stance crystal clear. The courtroom is not a stage for delays and excuses, no matter how deep your pockets or how influential your legal representation. Subramanian's ruling was swift and unequivocal, sending a strong message that justice will not wait for anyone, not even a billionaire with a celebrity entourage. So how did Diddy's legal playbook unravel so completely? His team had argued that a slew of new charges and evidence, filed at the 11th hour, made it impossible to prepare adequately by the original trial date. These amendments weren't minor either. They included fresh allegations involving a second victim, whose testimony prosecutors argue paints a more detailed and chilling pattern of exploitation and abuse. The defense insisted that they needed more time to investigate these serious new claims and build a proper response. But Subramanian wasn't moved. The judge rejected the notion that additional time was warranted, pointing out that the victims had already endured years of suffering and delays. To him, the request for more time wasn't about fairness. It was another attempt to kick the can down the road. The message was unmistakable. The wheels of justice will keep turning, and no amount of wealth or star power can stop them. Invoking the Crime Victims' Rights Act, a statute designed to shield victims from unnecessary delays that might deepen their trauma, Judge Subramanian made his position crystal clear. Granting a postponement would run counter to those very principles. The law's intent is to ensure that victims don't have to endure endless waiting while the accused maneuver for more time. By rejecting Diddy's plea, Subramanian wasn't just sticking to the rules, he was making a pointed statement. Justice would not be postponed to accommodate one of the most well-funded defense teams imaginable. And let's not mince words, Diddy's legal team is formidable. With 4 law firms at his disposal, an array of legal experts, and the high-profile addition of Brian Steele, renowned for defending hip-hop royalty, this is a defense effort of unprecedented scale. But for Subramanian, it wasn't about how many lawyers or how much money Diddy could throw at the case. It was about protecting the integrity of the trial process and, more importantly, standing firm for the victims who have already waited far too long to have their voices heard. This isn't Subramanian's first tough call in this case. His no-nonsense approach has been evident from the beginning, starting with the trial date he set months ago, a date he clearly never intended to move. Even when Diddy's team pushed for bail after the music mogul's initial plea of not guilty, Subramanian held firm. He's been consistent, sending a strong message that no amount of star power or wealth can overshadow the fundamental demands of the law. For the victims, this unwavering approach is a sign that their stories are being taken seriously. For Diddy, it's a sign that his usual playbook of postponements and strategic delays isn't going to work this time. In fact, this refusal to delay the trial has illuminated cracks in Diddy's legal strategy. The defense appeared to be banking on a drawn-out timeline, one that would allow them to meticulously counter every charge and piece of evidence. But with Subramanian's decision, that timeline has now been squeezed dramatically. The result, a frantic, accelerated preparation process where even the smallest oversight could have catastrophic consequences once the trial begins. Even Brian Steele, who's built his career on defending high-profile figures like Young Thug in complex racketeering cases, is now facing one of the toughest challenges of his professional life. Steele's reputation as a courtroom heavyweight is on the line, and the pressure to perform is unlike anything he's faced before. This trial isn't just about meeting deadlines. It's about navigating a case that's as high stakes and high profile as they come, with the world watching every move. At the heart of this trial is something far greater than legal maneuvering: the weight of the victim's stories. Judge Subramanian's firm decision not only underscores the gravity of these allegations, but also shines a spotlight on the powerful testimonies set to be unveiled. Prosecutors contend that these accounts, which span decades, paint a chilling picture of manipulation, coercion, and control. Many of these survivors will speak under the shield of anonymity, their identities carefully protected as they recount what they've endured. This meticulous preparation by the prosecution suggests a carefully woven narrative, one that has been years in the making. For Sean Diddy Combs, that spells enormous trouble. The court's refusal to grant a delay reveals more than just a preference for moving the case forward. It signals a strong, deliberate stance. Subramanian's sharp tone and clear boundaries have set the stage for what's likely to be a grueling legal battle. And it's not just about the evidence. It's about a court unwilling to be swayed by celebrity clout or a defense team with seemingly endless resources. Diddy's attempt to stall the proceedings didn't just fail, it highlighted a judicial resolve to keep this case on track. Subramanian's invocation of the Crime Victims' Rights Act demonstrates that his decisions are deeply rooted in established legal principles. He's not just making calls based on personal views, he's standing firmly on legal precedent designed to protect those who've already suffered enough. For Diddy's high-powered defense team, this means the clock is ticking faster than they had hoped. Even with their substantial resources, they now face the daunting task of assembling a strong defense in record time. This kind of high-pressure preparation would challenge any legal team, no matter how skilled or well-funded. For someone like Brian Steele, a seasoned attorney with a reputation for handling complex, high-profile cases, this trial represents an enormous test. The stakes couldn't be higher, not just for Diddy's legal fate, but for his public image and legacy. A billionaire mogul with a career spanning decades doesn't enter a courtroom like this without putting everything on the line. What happens when one of hip-hop's most formidable defense attorneys steps into the ring with one of music's most iconic figures? We're about to witness it firsthand. Brian Steele, a legal powerhouse who has made his name in high-stakes, high-drama cases, is now at the forefront of Diddy's defense team. Steele's reputation precedes him, and it's no mystery why. Known for his fearless strategies and dogged pursuit of acquittals, he's built a career on taking on cases that appear impossible to win. Most recently, he garnered attention for his tenacious representation of rapper Young Thug in a sprawling racketeering trial, a case that involved leaked wiretaps, sensational courtroom moments, and a web of charges that could have buried his client. Steele's ability to navigate such complex legal minefields made him a natural choice for Diddy's team. His presence isn't just about lending extra credibility, it's a clear sign of how high the stakes are. Steele's record speaks volumes. Take, for instance, his performance in the Young Thug trial. When confronted with a contempt charge for refusing to disclose private conversations between a judge, prosecutors, and a critical witness, Steele didn't back down. Instead, he pushed so hard that not only was the contempt charge ultimately dropped, but the judge was removed from the case entirely. That level of tenacity and willingness to challenge the system to its core is what Diddy's defense desperately needs as this trial marches forward. But let's be clear, Steele isn't walking into a cakewalk. For all his courtroom heroics, this case is shaping up to be one of the most challenging of his career. The weight of evidence, the public scrutiny, and the pressure to deliver a win for a global icon like Diddy create a perfect storm. Steele's ability to rise to the occasion will be tested like never before. This trial won't just define Diddy's future, it could redefine Steele's legacy as one of the fiercest defenders in the game. The stakes keep rising for Diddy's defense. Each day brings new challenges, and now a third superseding indictment has landed, throwing yet another wrench into their preparation. This latest charge centers on additional claims from victim 2, further intensifying the sex trafficking allegations. The prosecution has been relentless, and while Diddy's lawyers argue that this latest indictment introduces new material that requires more time to address, the prosecutors see it differently. According to them, the charge simply strengthens the existing case rather than introducing new misconduct. It's another brick in their wall of evidence, bolstering the overall narrative of prolonged abuse and exploitation. This courtroom showdown is turning into a high-stakes battle. Diddy's defense team isn't just any team, it's a legal juggernaut. now enhanced by Steele's reputation as an unflinching, resourceful litigator. With 4 law firms collaborating, the defense effort is monumental, even by celebrity trial standards. They're doing far more than responding to accusations. They're attempting to dismantle the prosecution's narrative at every turn, reframing timelines, challenging the interpretations of evidence, and trying to cast doubt on the credibility of the allegations. But despite this star-studded defense lineup, the prosecution is steadfast in their approach. What makes their strategy so powerful isn't just the new charges, it's their reliance on victim testimony. They are building their case around the voices of those who've come forward, ensuring that their accounts are not overshadowed by legal maneuvering. This focus on the victims' stories creates a compelling and deeply human element that could resonate with the jury. In the end, it's not just a battle of resources, it's a clash of narratives. And with every new indictment, the courtroom dynamic becomes more charged, setting the stage for a legal contest where neither side can afford to falter. At the core of the prosecution's case are the first-hand accounts of alleged survivors, stories that have the potential to profoundly move the jury and sway the entire trial. One key figure, known publicly as Cassie, has made the bold decision to testify under her real name. Her choice sends a strong, unambiguous message. She's not just coming forward, she's doing so with full confidence and a clear intention to hold Diddy accountable. This move could resonate deeply in court, setting the tone for the other accusers who will testify under pseudonyms. This careful balance between public testimony and protected anonymity highlights the prosecution's strategic approach. By shielding the identities of some survivors, they aim to ensure that the accusers can share their stories without fear of additional trauma or public scrutiny. It's a thoughtful, calculated tactic designed to present a powerful case while safeguarding the emotional well-being of those stepping forward. These testimonies are expected to reveal a pattern of control and exploitation stretching back decades, creating a narrative that prosecutors hope will leave no doubt in the jury's mind. By tying new allegations to an already established timeline of abuse, the prosecution intends to show that this isn't a matter of isolated incidents, but a disturbing history of alleged misconduct. The prosecution's case is built layer by layer, with each victim's account adding another piece to the larger picture. For the defense, this poses an immense challenge. Every survivor's testimony not only reinforces the prosecution's story, but also makes it increasingly difficult for Diddy's legal team to poke holes in the overarching narrative. This trial isn't just a fight over criminal charges, it's a battle for Diddy's legacy. His career, his reputation, and his entire empire are on the line. Steele and his team are not only fighting the prosecution's evidence, they're also grappling with the tide of public opinion. The very nature of the allegations, racketeering, sex trafficking, and abuse, has already cast a dark shadow over a once illustrious career. In an era when accountability and social justice are at the forefront, the implications of this trial stretch far beyond the courtroom. For Diddy, the outcome will determine not only his freedom, but also how history remembers him. And for the public, it may stand as a defining moment in the ongoing cultural shift toward transparency, responsibility, and justice. For the prosecution, this case is about more than simply bringing one man to justice. It's about making a statement. High-profile trials like these carry immense symbolic weight. A conviction wouldn't just be a victory for the victims, it would be a bold warning to others who believe their fame and fortune can insulate them from the consequences of their actions. Such a verdict would echo beyond the courtroom, sending a resounding message that no one, not even a cultural icon, is above accountability. At the same time, the stakes couldn't be higher for the prosecution. Failing to secure a conviction would invite public outrage and raise questions about the system's ability to handle such powerful defendants. This trial is more than a legal contest. It's a cultural flashpoint. For the defense, the challenge is monumental. They must carefully pick apart the prosecution's case, cast doubt on the victim testimonies, and ultimately convince the jury that the story presented isn't as clear-cut as it seems. Their goal is to preserve Diddy's freedom and, by extension, his legacy. Meanwhile, the prosecution is banking on the raw emotional power of victim testimony, hoping to demonstrate a pattern of behavior that spans decades. Each account is another piece in a carefully constructed narrative, one that prosecutors hope will convince the jury of a consistent pattern of abuse and control. The stakes aren't just personal for Diddy, they're cultural. His trial is shaping up to be a defining moment, not just for the man himself, but for a larger societal reckoning with celebrity privilege, systemic accountability, and the treatment of victims. As the May 5th trial date approaches, every new piece of evidence, every motion filed, and every courtroom exchange adds another layer to a case that's already drawn intense public scrutiny. The allegations of sex trafficking and racketeering are heavy enough to overshadow even a storied career like Diddy's, and a guilty verdict could permanently shift the narrative. The world is watching closely. Will this trial serve as a turning point for justice, or will it mark the downfall of one of music's biggest moguls? Only time and the jury will tell.